ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back again on Mzansi Affairs. Specifically, you are watching Mzansi Affairs right here on Share Radio, brought to you by Share Online. The time right now it's 6 minutes past 11, where we are here to discuss, important news that have been happening, and we would also like to hear from you right there who is watching at home, and tell us what you really think about the headlines that we're going to be discussing right here on Mzansi Affairs. Do make sure that you follow us on our social media platform. We are live on TikTok, and we are also live on Facebook and YouTube. Do make sure that you tune in with us, as we are going to have discussions about everything that is happening in our communities and in our country, as we have your top headlines. Our top headline for today is discussing Kabelo Gwamanda's arrest, on what is happening on the mayoral positions of Joburg as a whole. So my name is Muketi Maimane, and I will be your host. And joining me today is the one and only Mr. Itumeleng, who is here with us, who I'm going to give time, to introduce himself to the viewers at home.
A very good morning to you, Mr. Maimane. Thank you for the pleasant introduction. Indeed. And a very good morning to our listeners as well. Thank you for having me on the show, and I hope that you're going to get your information that you needed. Thank you.
Indeed. It's very nice to have you here, because it's all about being informative and informing people about what is happening. So true. We do invite people to join our conversations right here on Share Radio, brought to you by Share Online. So what I'm gonna do right now is to go through our headlines for today, in which we're going to be discussing with you right there at home. So on our top headlines, we have former Joburg mayor being arrested, and amid his arrest, we are going to be also looking at what he said, because he also came and spoke about the arrest, so
yes, he has indeed.
Yeah, I mean, it's something that we need to, highlight, because a lot of people, when there's allegations against them, they don't come and respond to those allegations.
Yes. It was very bold of him to come and do that.
Yeah.
But I think in a way he was trying to justify his actions in how the society has labeled him as a scammer.
Yeah.
So, yes. Yeah.
Indeed. We're also going to be looking at, the mayors of Joburg being changed, from year to year. I mean, we know Herman Mashaba served, but after Herman Mashaba, we saw a lot of changes, in the mayoral office of Joburg, in which is something we're going to be discussing. And we also would like to hear from you. What do you think, is the impact of Joburg having so many mayors in a space, in a period of a short time? So it is something that we're going to be looking at, and also getting deep into the food safety poisoning incident that are probed as a threat to our national security. I mean, we have been having cases whereby 5 Naledi children, I mean, it's 6 right now,
yes,
who have died because of food poisoning. And right now we have this case that has been brought up in Mpumalanga, where we saw a lot of high school kids being brought to the clinic because of food poisoning.
Sure.
I mean, okay,
yeah. It's a very sad observation of the trend that's been happening in South Africa. I mean, we've had reports about kids dying in Naledi due to food poisoning, but now it looks like this thing is like going all over around South Africa.
Yeah,
it's Limpopo, Mpumalanga, and it's very scary of how who's gonna be attacked next, and whose kids are gonna be affected by this.
Yeah.
But then, let's just be vigilant about this and take the necessary stand against whoever's distributing all these poisoned food. Eh?
Yeah, because we saw Minister Panyaza, Premier, Panyaza Lesufi going out and saying, investigation must be made, in terms of knowing where are these products being manufactured.
Sure.
Because it is very important as health and safety to know that what is it that is being fed to the communities, especially townships, as we are seeing this. So it's something that we're going to be discussing, and we hope that wherever you are watching, if you have any, opinions about what we're speaking about, and what you think is causing these food poisonings from the foreigners, tuck shops and spaza shops that are all over our townships. We would even like to hear from you. What do you really think about that? And also, speaking about that, the question is, what is behind the deadly food poisoning incidents. Health inspectors, they have descended to Soweto to find answers, in which is something that we're going to be following up on as the story builds up into what are the answers that are causing, the food poisoning that is actually taking a lot of kids in the townships. And lastly, but not least, enough is enough with losing our children. It's something that is happening. As we're speaking about it, food poisoning, losing children, we are experiencing major losses in our township, especially these young ones.
Young lives are being destroyed by this food poisoning, man, and we cannot endure with this anymore. So we must stand up as a community and as the nation of South Africa and do something about this. Yes, we understand that the authorities are on their way to finding out what the cause of this poisoning is from. But at the moment, we have to, at least the people who are distributing these food products must take accountability and also help out in the investigation to actually lead us in the right direction to find out where the food comes from and how we can deal with this.
Indeed. We'll be also looking deep into that. So please join our discussion, as we're going to be discussing those headlines that are happening around, and it's recent headlines that are taking place. So it is very advisable to hear from you guys wherever you are watching. Tell us and comment down below on our social media platforms. We are shared online on each and every social media platform. If you want to call us in right now, send your voice note, to voice out your opinion. The number to do that is 061-524-7758. 061-524-7758. Before we go to an ad break, I have a comment on my YouTube, which is from Razilani, saying the impact of so many mayors is a problem that a lot of people don't observe, and we don't know who we should report to now. It's confusing, and a lot of people are coming up in numbers and saying, this changes. It is also causing confusion in us.
Yes, it does contribute to the unstable we need to know who we report to, and it should not be changed just like that, because now one minute you have Herman Mashaba, the next is someone else, and some of us cannot keep up with the rapid change, so they have to slow down and find someone who's gonna be consistent in their serving of Joburg, man.
Indeed. So that's how we wrap things up for you, so that we can discuss after we come from a break right here on Mzansi Affairs. My name is Moketi Maimane, and I'm joined by the one and only Mr. Itumeleng Diale right here in studio. So do make sure that you engage with us on our social media platforms. We are shared online on each and every social media platform. Right now, we're going to take a short break, and then when we come back, we're getting straight into our headlines of the day, discussing and also wanting to hear from you wherever you are at home. Thank you for staying with us. You are still watching Mzansi Affairs right here on Share Studios. My name is Moketi Maimane, and I'm joined by Itumeleng Diale right here in studio, discussing our main headlines. Before the break, we discussed the headlines that we're going to be discussing with you. So let me just rephrase those headlines that we'll be discussing for today. On our first one, we are going to be discussing a former Joburg mayor being arrested, and we're also going to be looking at, him speaking about the arrest. And then we're going to be speaking about the food safety poisoning incident probed as a threat to national security. And then we're going to be speaking about what is behind deadly food poisoning incidents. Health inspectors descend on Soweto to find answers. And as soon as they find answers, we will make sure that we do a follow-up, and bring you all of the news on what the health inspectors that were descended in Soweto have found. And lastly, we're going to be speaking about enough is enough with losing our children. Naledi community has stand up and they saying enough is enough. We need to stop this thing that has been going on with this local spaza shop, killing the children and consuming food that takes the life of the children. So, former Joburg Mayor Kabelo Gwamanda has been arrested amid the funeral policy scam. Jama-ah councillor has been arrested in connection with an alleged funeral policy scheme that he allegedly ran from 2011 through his company, Ithemba Africa. It is alleged that the former mayor conned innocent Soweto residents into the scheme, where they paid monthly payments for funeral insurance. He operated the business from 2011 and then allegedly ran away when policy holders tried to claim from the scheme. Gwamanda is currently the member of the mayoral committees for community development in Johannesburg. He was appointed to the position in August after he was removed as Joburg mayor after a year in office. Gwamanda was arrested for one of his alleged victims, opened a case with Protea Clan Police. In July 2023, the Financial Sector Conduct Authority, FSCA, confirmed that it was investigating complaints received about Ithemba Africa and Gwamanda. The investigation is currently ongoing, and such no further details can be shared at this time. The purpose of the investigation is to establish whether such contravention has occurred. Once the investigation is concluded, the authority will inform the public of the outcome of the matter. The victim, who opened the case against Gwamanda in January, told the police that she took out a policy with Ithemba Africa, but when she came to report a death and claim her funeral policy money, she discovered to her horror that the offices had moved. She did her own investigation and found other victims. She was told that 2 directors had committed suicide after failing to pay back the money to investors. According to the police report, investors were under impression that both directors had died, only to see one suspect appearing on TV as the mayor of Johannesburg. Police then issued a warrant of arrest for Gwamanda in May 2024, but he was out of the country. Police were forced to trace Gwamanda after he failed to meet investigators when he was back in South Africa. He finally handed himself over to the police on Friday. And then Gauteng police have yet comment despite the fielding calls and WhatsApp text messages. This story will be updated once they have responded.
Man,
it's a lot.
It is a lot, and this Gwamanda situation raises a lot of questions, my guy. Because you are looking at a person who fakes his own death. I think that itself is a crime.
Yeah.
And then also he's got these 4 charges that are put up against him by his I don't know if we can call them customers, because now were they his customers, because now this whole thing was a hoax. So in fact, maybe he did not have any customers but just a bunch of victims, man. So let's just see how the investigations unfold, and then maybe we can also let the people know on the updates that we get on the case.
Because on the article here, we hear that there are victims, who are, who were their monies were taken, due to this funeral policy scheme that they were running.
Yeah.
It poses a lot of question, on how, he runs the funeral policy into becoming a mayor. It shows that along the investigation, maybe it would be found that somewhere, somehow, the position, the way they got it, somebody had to pay.
Somebody had to pay. So it questions if whether all the potential mayors, like, are they like properly vetted? Like, how do they come up to the selection? This is who we're gonna be selecting as the mayor of Joburg. Because now there has to be some background checks of who the person is, where they come from, maybe if they've been being part of any illegal activities or whatnot. So if you got a fourth star who's then appointed to be the Joburg mayor, like how does it? What's been done there?
Yeah, because they sit down in a committee, and obviously you would have parties like ANC that have been ruling for quite some time. When we finish voting, of course, there's your national, your provincial. You'll find that in provincial, you have your Jama-ah who are leading. You will have maybe DA, and then now DA, they have to elect the mayor, of the city. So that's what happened in Jama-ah, where they elected Kabelo and say, what, Kabelo is fit to become, the mayor of Johannesburg and run everything. But now, what I want us to look at right now here is, in terms of the running, and the period of time that they have, appointed the ministers, because back in 2011, Pakstau, was, introduced and appointed as the mayor of Johannesburg. He ran from 2011 to 2016, and then in 2016, Herman Mashaba took off, and then 2019, and then Mashaba was out. Geoff Makubo, 2019 to 2021. 2021, Jolidi Matongo, and then Jolidi didn't last even more than 7 months, 5 months, and then Mpho Moerane was in, and then in that 2021, Mpho Phalatse took over from 2021 to 2022, and then Mpho Phalatse had that 1 year period, and then she was appointed out, voted out, with the vote of no confidence, and then Dada Morero came after Mpho Phalatse. And then after the Mpho Phalatse came back in to run the city, it happened again. Thapelo Ahmad took from Mpho Phalatse in 2023, and then 2023 Gwamanda took off from Thapelo Ahmad, and then the present mayor right now of Johannesburg is Dada Morero. And looking at the past 3 years, we have been seeing a lot of changes.
It's been passed around like a ball of catch, man.
The city is unstable, and that speaks to how also the citizens, and the citizens and the people who are under, Joburg, So in terms of finding out that the mayor who was appointed is now on a case of being an alleged, fraud, so it really speaks a lot. It really speaks a lot about how the system is being used to introduce these kind of people. So we don't know, because we don't want to come up with our own opinions that are going to spark up debates, and cause, a lot of conflict. Sure. But it's within us as community members that are worried into, guys, why are you having a lot of mayors each and every time? We want one consistent mayor who is going to run the city and put where the city belongs.
Yes, and then whoever the mayor is, it should not be a mayor who has been removed before for some allegations or some misconduct that they did, and then now they are back again. No, like, we have to have someone with a clean record, and then who's gonna do the job like we expect the job to be done.
Indeed. Amid his arrest, Kabelo Gwamanda speaks on the arrest, and he mentions that as a black person, that is a possibility you cannot avoid in South Africa. I mean, speaking about that,
He's
are
playing
we,
the race card now.
yes, because are we saying each and every time, maybe you're being arrested, you have to bring up those reverse psychology that
you're black.
Black men should be oppressed.
No, man. No.
I mean, there's a case in Protea Land that was opened against you. People did not get their monies. People came and claimed their monies, but you were nowhere to be found.
It's not something that's just been made up. You have a bunch of victims. You have a number of victims who came together and put up a case against you. So now you cannot act like these things are just made up against you just for maybe a purpose of defamation or of some sort. So yes, this case is legit. I've heard that there's a what do they call it? A warrant of arrest that's been made for him. He even fled the country because now he was escaping the police. Indeed. And then he comes and says that and then he comes back and says that because he's a black man now he's being oppressed and whatnot. But if you're gonna say these words as if like you are innocent, but your actions are of a guilty man. So what do you take us for? Like, what do you take your residents for?
Because the most important thing is to put the city where it belongs, as we need to be one of the best cities in the world, not in South Africa, because we know that Joburg has a lot of influx of people coming in, and there's a lot of money circulating within the city, so it must be taken well care of. Right now we saw that they want people's ideas on how to fix the street. Bree Street, where we had the gas explosion. Sure. It has not been fixed yet. And yet we're still having mayors each and every, it's like every day we wake up to a different mayor.
And they say they represent the city.
Yes.
But now look at the state in which the city is at, man.
So it's things that we need to speak of in terms of, having a leadership that is always failing us, because the residents and the people in the city are all like they're trying to make things work. But if leadership is failing, that means the residents also, they will lose hope. So former executive mayor of City Joburg, Kabelo Gwamanda, has spoken about his widely reported arrest after he was charged for allegedly swindling Soweto residents. So in a short video that was shared by Gwamanda, the former mayor casually addresses the issue of his arrest, speaking to an unidentified interviewer whose voice is heard, but the interviewer is not visible in the video. The woman asked the question, "We were told you were arrested." Gwamanda responded and said, "You know what? In South Africa, as a country, growing up black, it's a possibility that one of us can avoid regardless of the path you choose. Whether you choose to serve or to engage in nefarious activities, the fact of the matter is that the relationship that South Africans have with the law enforcement is a relationship that needs to be worked on very strongly, so that we understand what each of our roles are in this undertaking. But I'm here at home. I cannot swim. There's a storm coming in the city of Johannesburg. Thank you very much." I mean, those are the words from the former mayor, man. Telling the residents that, guys, I can't swim and there's the storm coming.
But like that does not answer the question if whether you were arrested and why were you arrested. Are those allegations true?
Yes.
We need updates. We need to hear it from the horse's mouth. Yes. But instead he's like using dodging tactics now.
You see,
telling us about the storm. It's not about the storm. We all know there's a storm coming. But now we need to know if whether you swindled the people or not.
Yeah.
And then if you did, fine, then maybe you may I don't know. I don't want to say this, but like I think that's the way it is, because you know how these people are. So he may escape maybe the hands of justice. But like, is there gonna be any any corrections he's gonna make to the people? Because now people have been paying money and now they try to claim they don't receive their payouts, so they have to make other means to continue with the funeral services, right? Yes, but then now, are they gonna get their monies back? Because they've been paying for so long, and now money's gone down the drain, and the person claims to be dead. And then next thing you wake up, he's there being announced as the new
Yeah.
Joburg mayor.
I mean, it's so sad, as we always say South Africa is a movie. Imagine somebody scamming you money. The next thing he's the mayor, of Joburg. I mean, this guy, we were collecting our monies and
Making
joined
sure.
his funeral scheme. Only to find out the guy is no longer there, and
He's announced dead.
even the other people know good how Gwamanda is dead, guys. So let's move on. The next thing, how he's the
Gwamanda
mayor
is
of Joburg.
back.
It's a problem. But we also had a tweet from Herman Mashaba saying Action SA is going to act on this. He said Gwamanda must not only resign as an MMC, he must resign as a councillor with immediate effect.
And then he must be blacklisted as well. We cannot have him reappointed again.
Yeah, going around with so huge cases like this one. So it's something that a lot of people are like, what Gwamanda has done, it's something that is way too out of what we have faced, especially with mayors. But with the business, I think it's very important that we need to lay out on what are the articles saying out there, because they're saying it was reported on Sunday that Gwamanda, who is an Jama-ah councillor, was arrested in connection with alleged funeral policy scam which he allegedly ran from 2011 through his company, which is Ithemba Lama Africa is the name of the company, right? So it is alleged that the former mayor, working with another person, conned unsuspecting Soweto residents into the scheme, where the community members paid monthly installments for funeral insurance. The business, as we said, was operated from 2011, and the business people ran away when policyholders tried to claim from the scheme.
So I take it maybe the policyholders tried to claim maybe during the COVID incident.
Yeah.
So if you're gonna calculate from 2011 until 2022,
Yeah.
how many years have these people been paying?
Yo.
Yeah, how much money?
It's a lot
has
of
he,
money,
Has he
money that he can get to afford flying out of the country.
straight up?
So the last one, they said some of the victim believed Gwamanda had died, only to see him on television speaking as a mayor of the city of Johannesburg. It's truly amazing how not amazing but shocking that some of the things can turn out to be as clear as they are, because the guards of you taking my money and appearing and being on every paper that's available on our city,
That you are a wanted man.
yeah. So please, guys, do make sure that you share your comments with us and tell us what you really think about this Gwamanda issue and, Joburg having a lot of mayors in our country. So we would really like to hear from you, right there at home. Comment down below. We are share online on each and every social media page. Please do make sure that you engage with us. Leave down your comments as I see the comments right there that I want to read. So we have Refilo Rasa Khanso saying, we thank Naledi residents for closing the Pakistani shops because this poisoning is getting out of hand. We are losing our children, and Pakistan are not helping.
They're not.
Ratilani saying, the problem that I have with mayors is that they don't care about the population and the safety of the city. Mostly mayors, they are just sending each other out to download the money out of the state.
Damn.
So I just want us to read some of the things that the references when it comes to Kabelo Gwamanda, but it's something that we're going to do when we come back from the break, because the man has done a lot. So please do make sure that you stay with us, engage with us on our social media platforms. Then I'll take a short break, and then when we come back, we'll continue with our headlines.
Right.
thank you for staying with us right here. And you're still watching Mzansi Affairs with me, Mweketi Maimane. And joined in studio is Mr. Itumileng Diare right here. We're still discussing our main headlines for the day. And we would really like to invite you and engage with us on our social media platforms. We are live on TikTok, Facebook, and YouTube. But do make sure that you comment down below and tell us what you really think of the discussions and the headlines that we are having right here. So the discussion is open to everyone, so please do make sure that you comment down below, or if you want to leave your voice note, you can simply send your voice note on 061 524 7758 061 524 7758. Still on the case of Gwamanda. You know, we know that right now we are led by the seventh administration government, which is known as the GNU.
Yeah, sure.
And it consists of 11 parties. So when these things happen, obviously the parties won't stay and keep their mouths shut.
Nope.
You know, so it speaks to the indifferences that this is going to bring. So if you are found with cases that include being a fraudster, you know, criminal activities, you being found and being alleged in cases that, you know, don't speak to this administration and don't speak to you as a character being in leadership, you know, obviously it's going to spark up a lot of debates on, guys, okay, why should you vote for this party? Because you see their leaders. They are in. So we are seeing this increasing thing that's going to be used against the leaders of the parties. You know, that, no, guys, Jama-ah can't be, you know, part of this, because you see the kind of leaders that they're producing. So it's also going to be a process and a long journey, you know, for the country in itself and also for the cities. But obviously, you know, in those parties, we have one of the best parties that, you know, we know that, you know, when it comes to complaints, when it comes to standing up on things, the DA, man, you know, the DA, they have, you know, they called for fraud, accused Joburg Mayor Kabelo Gwamanda to account, you know. So the DA caucus in the Johannesburg Council has called for the newly elected Mayor Kabelo Gwamanda to account for accusation he is a scammer, saying he should come clean, man. You know, it is alleged that according to DA, they found out that it is alleged that through his entity Ithemba Lama Africa, he scammed innocent residents. So I want us to speak about you know, when we are in this room and we decide that we want to lead, you know, we want to lead this community, you know, we have different views, I have different views.
Sure.
And then later you find out that, I've been scamming people. Like, next, what do you think is going to be your next approach? Are you still going to trust me, or it's going to be a caucus between us?
Man, you know, thing is, me being the person that I am, and I do not want to associate myself with controversy. So if I wake up one morning and realize that Mr. Mo has been alleged to be a scammer and he's faking his death and whatnot, like, so why would I want to be associated with a person like that? Why would I want that type of person to lead my community? Because now, what kind of community is that gonna be? So of course I would not associate myself with a person of that nature, you know. So I think that's what the administration should do, because whatever it is that Mr. Gwamanda is doing, and as the city as the mayor of the city of Joburg, that also links to the government, to the GNU coalition, you know. So they should also take a stand and ensure that whatever it is that Mr. Gwamanda is involved in does not rub off on them. Because if they let him stay in, it is gonna also affect them negatively. Because now, if you know that there's someone under your leadership who is doing this kind of activities to the people of the city, and then you let him continue with his duties, then what kind of leader are you? So
Yeah, man.
They should do something about that.
It's really looking bad, because right now, DA, they're pushing this narrative, that, he must just come clean, man. Just come clean so that we can fix the office and everything can be well done, because Joburg has a population of like 6 million people, So Popalate was speaking about that, that amid to this 6 million people that we have, and we still have these kind of problems, it's going to take us a lot of time, because as residents, it's something that we are looking upon. I mean, if you say Gwamanda is the mayor, and when you look at the budget that is being taken out, for the city as a whole, and then you have somebody who has scammed people, I mean, you would get budgets like your 70 billion budget for the city, for the whole of the city, and now it's going to the hands of somebody who is accused.
Yeah, so there's a chance that money also might disappear out of the account.
Yeah,
because now you have someone who's clearly a professional at what he's doing.
Yeah,
and he's able to. I'm still shocked about the fact that he was able to fake his death and actually get away with it.
Indeed.
No.
So it's something that needs to be looked upon. So right now, as we welcome and also invite Mr. JP to the conversation. Good morning, Mr. JP.
Morning, how are you, man?
I am good, thanks. And how are you, sir?
I'm good, thanks.
Yeah, thank you so much for joining in, because we're still discussing the Gwamanda issue, and hoping that you will be with us as time goes on and to hear your views on what we are speaking about. But anyway, welcome to the show, Mr. JP. And as we are moving on, speaking about and reading the article that the DA is pushing a narrative that Mr. Gwamanda should just come clean and tell the people he was a scammer. He took the monies of the people and ran away. He is alive, as we are seeing him, as the former mayor of Johannesburg. So Palat said that the allegations circulating on social media suggested that Gwamanda have flouted the financial laws of this country and swindled and scammed members of the public. It is for these reasons that the DA in Johannesburg will be bringing these allegations to attention of the South African Police Services for further investigation, along with a victim of the scheme. As we know that there's a victim that's out there. So I don't think things are looking very good for Gwamanda at this time.
Not at all.
So it is called for accountability, that it is very important that as much as these people are going to be brought to light, this should not happen again.
Straight up.
And obviously, Gwamanda, there has to be some sort of punishment that is being given to him.
Yes.
Because you'd never know how many people have suffered.
Nope. And then speaking of accountability, Mr. Mo, I think the first step for Mr. Gwamanda in the direction of taking accountability is by stepping down and resigning as the mayor of Johannesburg.
Yeah.
And then everything else can come after. But now the pressing issue is for him to step down. We demand Mr. Gwamanda to step down.
Yeah.
If he's listening to this, Mr. Gwamanda, we need you to step down, sir.
Indeed. And also, Mr. JP, you just joined us. You're speaking about the arrest of Mr. Kabelo Gwamanda, which is the former, mayor of Johannesburg. I just want to hear your thoughts, because he was arrested because they say the investigation said he was running this funeral policy scheme, in which it ran from 2011. So along those times, people were contributing monies monthly, and one of the victims said when it was time for her, to claim the money, Gwamanda was nowhere to be found. The building was empty, and we're talking about the mayor. We're talking about the person who is responsible for the 6 million people who are living in the city. So I don't know. What are your thoughts around that?
I think it's a sensitive issue, to talk about it. Of course, there are a lot of people that are angry about this issue, and it was just living in denial, because this case was pending for a long time. Now I think there is no excuses, because you see now everything is out there. I don't think. I think most of the politicians is what we say, that they run away with crime, So, but law now starting to take a different direction. So they just want to set example with him, and I think a lot of people will learn from that. So he was just living in denial, and now everything is out there. So I think he has got no excuses, and a lot of people they've come forward with evidence and everything. So it was just stealing for public, and as a politician and a member that leading the public, it's something that we don't condone. So I think it deserves what is coming for him.
Indeed. So thank you so much for your views. As we are discussing right here, saying, Gwamanda should be called and, investigated so that we can get a little bit more of what really happened before we say, Gwamanda must be arrested. But the allegation has come that there are victims. So we are glad to hear that the investigations are going on and the victims will be brought along to also tell their, side of the story. So, yeah, please do make sure that you comment down below and tell us what you really think. What is your view and what is your thought on this headline, including the former mayor, which is Gwamanda. So we are sharing online on each and every social media platform. Do make sure that you tune in. We are live on Facebook, live on TikTok, and also live on YouTube. On YouTube, do make sure that you subscribe for more content like this one each and every Tuesday right here on Share Radio, brought to you by Share Online. So moving on, we have a food safety and poisoning incidents probed as a threat to national security in our country. So it was said that poisoning incident, they are becoming a threat into our country. NATJOINTS is treating the recent spate of suspected food poisoning incidents as a national security threat. 6 children died in Naledi after eating items bought at a local spaza shop. Dozens of pupils were also rushed to hospital for suspected food poisoning in Mpumalanga and Limpopo. The health department says it's concluded that a chemical agent is causing the illnesses. It's working feverishly to identify it. Around 80 environmental inspectors, police, and the consumer councils are investigating the agent. The team will commence their work in Soweto on Monday, which was yesterday. Meanwhile, there are growing calls for government to ensure the safety of food sold at spaza shops. Gauteng Economic Development MEC Lebogang Maile has outlined government's plans. He says government will also take tough action against those attacking foreign-owned shops. You see now what is happening. The same foreign shops that manufacture, these items and products that are being given to children, and children, lose their lives. So the government is like, somehow, we need to protect these people because we don't know what's the truth.
Straight up. So, there's a lot of questions that are raised when you start to touch on this matter, Mr. Mo. Because now there are talks that the shops run by these foreign nationals are not regulated, first thing. And then now we see that the government acknowledges that we have these foreign nationals running their spaza shops in our local communities, right? And then now they go to as far as to protecting them and threatening to arrest whoever takes a stand against these foreign nationals. But now, what are they saying about the harmful products that are being sold to our children? And unfortunately, the children even succumb to the harmful effects that are carried out by these harmful products. So it's a lot, Mr. Moman. But now the government must not intervene on this case, because now the first step that the residents must do is to ensure that all these shops are closed. And I like that they even went as far to say that this is not going to be a temporary measure. They plan to make sure that they close permanently, so that at least if it's better for me to buy a shop knowing that shop is run by Mr. Mo, and if ever I do get to buy something that is not up to standard, I can go to Mr. Mo and ask him to account.
Indeed,
But now you're gonna get someone from God knows where, who we don't even know their name. You don't even know what they stand for, and now they out here selling you food. So it's a pretty tricky situation.
Yeah.
But I think I'm just glad that we are taking a stand against this and ensuring that our community becomes safe again for our children and also our elderly residents.
Because we also know that it is easy for you to hide everything that you're doing, because now they're mentioning that there's this chemical agent they want to investigate. I just want to ask from you, guys, if you have ever came across a product that you have never seen anywhere before, but you only see it in a spaza shop that is local to where you stay. So, Mr. JP, talking about these chemical agents, have you ever came across a product, that you bought at a local spaza shop that is not familiar, and you've never seen it anywhere?
There is a lot, more special people that are selling foreigners plaza shops. Most of the product they do it themselves, and they do it in an environment where it's not supposed to be food. It's like they are not complying at all. So there is a lot of things that they are selling. Actually, they are doing it themselves. So, and most of the things that's supposed to be sold in these plaza shops or everywhere here, there are standards and rules and regulations. More special, they must have the SAB tag. In most cases. So most of the things, that's why they have their own stock. So I just think like there are people that are just taking bribes. The people, those who are supposed to be responsible for all the spaza shops that are selling things and checking all the things. So it's causing confusion. If someone is taking bribes, so a lot of things won't go well. That's why you see there are people that are dying, and then there are people that want to protect the foreigners and all these things. So it's really causing chaos, So I think if the government can restart this thing of the owners, they need to regulate the rules and make sure that every spaza shop comply, and then they must even come forward where they get their stock so that they can check the factories and where they buy their stock. Instead of like now there are things already in spaza shops that are selling. We don't even know where it comes from. It's just that we can see that it's sweets, it's chips, it's biscuits. But if we check, social media doesn't lie. In most cases, we see these people doing all these things. We see these people branding the bottles of Coke. We don't even know where these Cokes come from, But we they are selling to us and we consume it. That's why there is a lot of more food poisoning. So I think government need to restart these things of plaza shops and the things that are selling.
Mr. Itu, any experience?
Man, it's sad to even. In fact, it's embarrassing to even say this because I have a favorite snack that I always buy from these foreign national shops. It goes by the name Choco Bites. The shocking part is that these snacks, they're like chocolate snacks, and they have no branding, man. They just you buy them like that. You just buy and you get like given by hand, and you can just eat it off wherever you are. And then there's also these biscuits, like they bake them themselves. I have a friend, foreign national owner of the shops. So he says that he gets cookies baked by his aunt from Somalia. And then they send them this side for him to sell, and as a loyal customer, I mean, like, it's not like we have any ill intentions against these guys. Some of them are good guys, and we do have like some forge some sort of friendships with them. So we try and check out their products, like, oh, you have that, let me taste, give me, and then you buy maybe a few of those items, only to find out that they're actually nice. But like for some people, it's said that they're having these type of what you call sad experiences whereby you would buy something from them and actually find out it's poisoned and you die from it. But you know, there's two sides to the story, and not that we're saying that all of them are bad, you know, but like, you know, the majority of them is just that,
it's really bad because Mr. JP mentioned something that there are videos circulating on the social media.
Yes, of them producing their own.
Yeah, producing their own, and you see the level of the rooms that they use. You know, you have even shows in Moja Love. When you're looking at those shows, I mean, some of the things are being made on the toilets. You know, like it's a scenery that, when it is exposed, people are like, what actually are we consuming? You know, but you know, speaking about this, I also want to discuss this with you guys because of recently, I just want us to look at the people, you know, the demographic that is being affected, because we are seeing a lot of young kids and pupils, you know, peoples who are affected by these items that they buy from the local spaza shops, you know. So is it because of maybe demand? You know, we know that a lot of kids, you know, with sweets, they buy every day, and when, you know, it's stock out, they're like, we have to make a plan, man. You know, do something, let's create something, you know, that is going to be
it looks like maybe like identical to the original brand, just so that they can supply the demand. But now they are killing us, man. You know, I mean, it would be fair for them to say, look, we are out of stock, just maybe come back tomorrow, instead of like you coming up with something of your own with questionable hygiene standards, and then you're gonna feed it to our kids, and now our kids are dying.
Like, because it's young kids that are now victims of this. You know, they're losing their lives. And in terms of what the government is doing, in terms of, you know, the measures of bringing the well-branded food that is okay, you know, for the residents or for these young kids to consume. Because we know that for us, you know, as an adult, maybe there's something you can see. As much as you say that you build trust with the guy, and then whatever that you consume, obviously he won't poison you.
No, he won't.
You know, but with kids don't look at what brand it is. As long as it's nice, it tastes nice, I can consume it. But now there's this thing that experiments are being done on kids, because as of right now, maybe a report is being brought back, you know, to the manufacturers that, hey guys, this thing is killing people. Stop it, or rather change, you know, what you are using, the ingredients. Hence, they speak about this agent chemical. You know, there are certain chemicals that they use for people to consume, you know, and if they don't find them harmful, they continue to sell them to people.
Man, so, you know, it's like the wording of their reports, or should I say the terminology they use. They say it's an agent, but why don't they specify what kind of agent it is? Because if you go on socials, you'll see some videos or some posts that are pertaining the matter at hand, and they actually say that the agent that's actually being found on these food items, especially for the one that killed the children in Naledi, it was found that the agent responsible for the deaths of those kids was an agent used in the production of rat poisoning. So now the kids were being fed rat poisoning. How can you put rat poisoning agent in snacks? You see, so now it brings us to the. I think I saw one of the videos circulating that actually the person who's responsible for the poisoning of the kids in Naledi was not actually a foreign national, but one of the members in the community. But now we cannot conclude on that. We just have to wait and hear what the authorities come up with, and then maybe we can take it from there.
Indeed. So, Mr. JP, I just want to get your thought, man, you know, in terms of, you know, there are videos circulating, and now the demographics that we are seeing, it's, you know, it's kids most of the times, you know, as we got this story that was trending on social media that, you know, kids were rushed to the hospitals, you know, from Mpumalanga because they consumed, you know, an item, it has not been disclosed where they consume the item, but it's something that they bought from the local spaza shop.
Yep.
So I just want to hear from you. What are your thoughts around that? Are they trying to experiment with kids because they know kids? Apologies with that, ladies and gentlemen, and thank you so much for staying with us right here. And you're still watching Mzansi Affairs. My name is Muketi Maimane, and I am joined by the one and only Mr. Itumeleng Diale. And on the phone call, we have Mr. JP. Before we cut off, we're still discussing the food poisoning cases that are rising amongst peoples. I got cut off while I was asking, you, Mr. JP, a question, in terms of what do you think and what is your thought, when it is around these, the demographic of the young kids, are being poisoned and losing their lives. We haven't had a case whereby an adult, have lost their lives due, to consuming these products from the local spaza shop. So I just want to get your thoughts on that. Is it because they think children don't pay attention to the brands, or, they're doing experiments on what product they should take out there to the people?
More, I see that unmeasured ingredients, is not going to be good to kids, of course. It's going to be poisonous, And I think poison is dangerous to everyone, even if you're an adult. It's unfortunately that we're not always running to the spaza shops as an adult, because we buy valuable things, So kids, whatever that is sweet, they make sure they want to taste anything that is new to them. They want to taste. So they're becoming in danger in that way, So the poison that are killing kids can kill even the adults. It's unfortunate that we're not consuming, most of the things that kids consume. So, and it's hard now because people, they afford. Kids, they get money when they go to school, they save so that they can run back to the spaza shops, So it's a problem to a society. I think the government needs to take action and to take this serious, before we lose more kids, Sometimes some of these issues, if you heard it from far, and it's not someone that the kids that that are dead, you can take it lightly. But this thing is gonna spread to where everyone can feel it. So it's something that need to be protected, and they take action, serious actions,
Yeah.
In the last show when we talk about this, I said, this thing need a special task force, people that can deal exactly with this crisis.
Yeah.
They need to appoint the people that can deal exactly these things of spaza shops, food poisoners, where the food come from, and a lot of things need to be done.
Yeah.
So exactly that, I'll say that actually government need to bring a budget, and hire people to investigate and check the product, and make sure that our society is safe at the end of the day, because we depend in government and politicians to take actions when things are like this.
Amid on what is happening, I think the most valuable question is, what is behind deadly food poisoning incidents, in which is something that we are getting deep into right now. So the question is, what is behind deadly food poisoning incidents? Health inspectors descend on Soweto to find answers. So different state departments and agencies in South Africa have concluded that following a careful analysis, the country is dealing with a chemical agent that could be behind a series of food poisoning incidents that has rocketed the country. A new team of experts have been deployed to identify this chemical agent as a matter of agency. And earlier this month, among several incidents, it was reported, in the Limpopo Department of Education, they are investigating an incident of alleged food poisoning at Makahlule Primary School in Malamulele. Provincial spokesperson Matome Tuatswala said 22 learners were rushed to a nearby clinic when they started vomiting. Spokesperson for the National Department of Health, Foster Mohale, said over the past few weekends, South Africa has been bedeviled by a strange phenomenon of a spate of food related on sudden illnesses and death, especially in schools. Those affected have concluded that these ailments are a result of food poisoning emanating from foodstuff, particularly snacks sold by foreign owners, puzzle shops. This has become the generally held view in the country, which prompt some people to take action based on this belief and understanding. These increasing incidents in black communities have led to an unfortunate and unsubstantiated perception that authorities are turning a blind eye to crises that seem not to care on what is happening really to the citizens. So this also come, and we mix it with what happened in Naledi, because this thing happened last year where two kids consumed biscuits from the tuck shop and they lost their lives. And they said something should be done. Now, the 6 kids, they lost their lives.
And we're still saying the same thing.
We're still saying the same thing.
Must be done.
So are we saying our government is looking at these people, bringing in money into the economy, injecting more money with these tuck shop as they attract more consumers, especially in township. The target market is basically in townships where they know where there's a lot of money, So is it now because they're seeing that, okay, maybe they have taken a step, a step forward of selling things, and now people are dying, like they're just dying like flies, and obviously there's money involved because they're making money. So are we seeing the revelation of, say, what, the government now, they are standing up because despite them bringing money, but people are losing their lives. So it is a question that we need to discuss right here, that, okay, are we saying the reason that they did not do a follow-up from the cases that we have had is because maybe there's some money involved, or is something else?
So, maybe as Mr. JP said, that at times you may not be really, really concerned about what's happening because it's not happening to someone close to you.
Yeah.
Right? And then also looking at the case that happened last year, only 2 children died, right? So now it's 6, and now they want to get up on their feet and do something about it. And I think also the kids from Mpumalanga being affected by this also has what you call sparked a national outcry that, look, okay, fine, it's not only the kids from Naledi, but now it's happening in Mpumalanga. And now not only in Mpumalanga, but also Limpopo is getting affected by this so-called chemical agent as well.
Yeah.
So it may feel like we are being targeted as because this is only happening in our communities, the black communities. So is it because maybe whites do not buy from these foreign national shops or what? But if it's money, maybe they are protecting these foreign nationals because they don't want to interrupt the influx of money coming into the country.
Yeah.
But we should put money aside and just focus on the well-being of our residents, man. Because now, if you're going to be focusing on money, how many people have to die until we realize that no, we have to never mind the money and take care of the people.
Yeah.
So the government must not focus on the money, because now we are losing people.
Yeah.
And we cannot have this go on for any longer.
Indeed. So please do join us on our social media platforms to engage with us. We are shared online on each and every social media platform. You can leave down your comment down below and tell us, your opinions with the headlines that we are discussing right now, amid, to the cases that have been found that pupils have actually been, to the clinics. They have been rushed to the clinics because of consuming items they have bought from the local spaza shops. We would really like to hear from you. So, Mr. JP, I just want to hear your thought around this, in which now we are seeing that they are taking it further by releasing experts on, investigating what is out there, what is being manufactured, what is being given to these kids. Do you think it is going to help us move forward, or we are going to experience the same thing again?
I think expect supposed to be there a long time ago, before we have these cases, So it's something that will say that if they are not going to take bribes, because these people that are foreign nationals, they have money, and then if you find something that people are not supposed to consume, they can give you a lot of money, you know. So if they don't take bribe and then they do their work thoroughly, I think we're gonna have improvement and we're gonna win at the end of the day. So there must be people that inspecting the inspectors. That's how we can win in this case.
I agree.
Yeah. And this also brings us, to our last one, which is the Naledi residents. They're saying enough is enough now. So angry residents of Naledi went on rampage to close foreign-owned shops after 5 children died after allegedly eating snacks from one of the shops. Disgruntled Naledi Extension residents and Operation Tutula embarked on a mission to shut down foreign-owned spaza shop. This action comes after the 6 children aged younger than 10 died after eating snacks bought at a local Pakistan spaza shop. What 20 community leader Peter Zwane said that as Naledi community, they demand permanent closure of all the Pakistani-owned spaza shops. We have decided that every Pakistan tuck shop must close, not temporary but permanently. We want these people to go to their homelands. Yesterday we went to every spaza shop owned by Pakistani. We spoke to the shop owners and the landlord and told them we want their spazas to close because they are unregulated. She added that their aim was not to loot but to ensure that the Pakistani shop owners removed their poisonous goods and threw them away for good. Operational Tutula's national organizer Davis Mogolejo told that as long as South Africans continue to give their yes to foreigners to place their stores, children dying will take time to end.
True.
Because we need to look at the underlying facts about everything that is going on, because it starts with us saying, I will lend you my yard and you can sell your goods
Straight.
So are we saying this is going to take a lot of process, because even the people that are hiring, and the people that are giving them room they can sell, they become tenants, so it has to start with us,
The landlords.
Yes, and the landlords are not Pakistanis. They are our own people. So how do you get a message to somebody who's trying to feed the kids,
Yeah.
trying to get an income?
That's where the issue is, Mr. Maimani, because now you have me as the landlord, and I benefit from having these Pakistanis selling for my yard. So if you're asking me that I must chase them away, where am I gonna get the money that they're giving me? So it is gonna be a bit tricky. But my only wish is that, when all is said and done and people have come up with a way in which they can, get the Pakistanis to move out of their communities. My wish is that when they do that, it must be, peacefully.
Yeah.
Let's not kill. Let's not rob. Let's not loot. Let's just do it in a civil way to show the other nations that we are not using this as an opportunity to benefit ourselves, but just to secure and ensure that our communities are in safe hands. And then maybe when they move out, when these Pakistani nationals move out, this will serve also as an opportunity. So if you're a landlord and you have a Pakistani national renting your place, then when they move, you can open a shop.
Yeah,
yourself. For yourself. And then also when you do that, just ensure that you're gonna sell good food. We don't want to have the same case with you, where we're blaming these Pakistanis, but it also happens with you.
So, Mr. JP, your thought about that? Because we can say they can go, but now we're seeing that we open spaces for them to come into our yards and sell these goods to people. So that situation, how do we actually tackle it, and what do we do? Are we speaking to our fellow citizens, South African citizens, and or are we just saying close the shop, we don't care what is happening in the background? So I just want to hear your thoughts around that.
I think now there is a lot of people involved more, because there are people that are getting money out of the people that are renting back their yards, or selling in their spaza shops, So these things, it goes back to when before the Pakistans or these people that are coming from outside uh, take over our spaza shops. We were having spaza shops in the communities. But what was happening, it was like we were selling original things, things that are being inspected and things that are being in good standard. You understand? So a lot of people were not making that much profit, but we were selling, and then there were few plaza shops, and it was helping our community. So they came with a plan. These guys, Pakistan guys, when they took over, they made sure that they use cheap material, they use shortcuts, they use all these things to poison our people. And there is a fact that we're not taking into consideration that it might be we might not see people dying same time, but there is what is so-called slow poisons. There are people that are going to be affected in years to come, who will have disease that we don't even understand where does it come from. Only to find that we have consumed from food, because they are trying their best to cut costs. That's why they don't even mind to pay high rents. They're paying 5,000, 7,000. So of course you will give them space and then to sell, because you will be benefiting. But if a person that will sell originals can't afford that rent, so it's a little bit circle and confusion up to so far. But we know that it needs people, our community, and understanding that our people are dying, and even in future we're going to lose a lot of people if we don't take this serious. So these people need to step aside a little bit, and then we fix our economy. We fix our people to own business again, to sell originals, and make sure that our people consume things right. So if government doesn't take stand and people take bribes, we will die. And even if we don't die tomorrow, but in a long run, even us adults will have disease that we won't know where it comes from. So it's a bit confusion, but it needs people that are in a good state of mind to see this and tackle it as it is.
Yeah. I mean, Operation Tudula's national organizer, Mr. Davis Mogollego, comes and say, as South Africans, we are failing ourselves because we are the ones who open our spaces to these people. As the community, we support their businesses while knowing they sell expired goods. Last year around this time, in the same area, a similar thing happened. He added that as Operation Tutula, they are obliged to ensure that the spazas remain open, but that foreign nationals do not operate them. Only our people. They are in talks with corporations to help South Africans operate these spazas. Enough is enough. We cannot keep losing our children in this manner and fold our arms. As Tutula, we will ensure we continue spreading awareness to the country. Now it's getting momentum now. It's rising. People are getting heated because it's not just the poison that a kid will go to hospital and come back, but kids are losing. Die. Yes, kids are losing their lives. I think now the solution that we need to speak about is something that Mr. David has raised, is that our people should start operating these.
Sure, I agree
but
with that.
we need to also look at the channels that these people have created from long time ago. It's been years and years. You have to look at where they stock their food, because now as investigations, they don't even know where the manufacturers.
They manufacture themselves, man.
Exactly. So if black people start selling, of course they're going to stock at those factories or shops that the what you call the grocery stores that sell with the high retail price. Now that is going to push a lot of people who are in township, because these people, they come up with methods of making sure that they sell things that are as cheap as they can, so that people can, afford and know how to, live throughout daily, So, is it possible that South African can take over these spaza shops?
I think it is possible, because now if you are a shop owner and you go and buy from these these well-known retail shops, so when you stock, I think there's a certain discount that is made available to you for stocking. So I think maybe that's why also these foreign nationals were able to sell and were able to rent and able to make this much profit. Because remember, when they buy, it's not just one Pakistani shop going to rent for themselves, but like it's like a chain of shops. So when they buy, they buy in like I don't know if it's bulk, because like it's more than bulk. They buy in like large quantities. And I'm sure they also score a very, very big discount on that. Hence, maybe if we can also come together and keep this chain going, and so that we can be able to stock in large quantities, so that we can also score that big discount, and then that way I'm sure we can fare better and be able to make a good profit out of that.
Indeed. Mr. JP, your thoughts around it? Is it possible for the South African people, black people, to take over these spaza shops and continue with them? Mr. JP, are you still with us? All right.
Yes, more.
Yeah. I was asking your thoughts about is it possible for the national the spaza shops to be taken over by black people, and black people operate them as usual as the foreigners did?
Yes, more. It's possible, because we used to do this before. It's just that now the only thing that need to happen. We need to fund our people, and then we need to give them a lecture how much they run their businesses. So this thing, it goes back that we grow up in the community where our grandfathers used to own shops and spaza shops. So it's nothing new, but I think now we need to train people, to run these spaza shops, and to just give them a glimpse of what's happening to be a business owner, and we need to give them a circle where to get product to sell to people, so that they can get profit and put those markups, and so that they can able to sustain their business and all that. So it can help. We can do it if we get a chance.
So the conversation does not end here. So please do make sure that you connect with us and engage with us on our social media platforms. We are Share Online. And if you'd like to comment, using your voice note, you can simply send your voice note on the number 061 524 7758. It's 061 524 7758. Before we close the show, I think we have also, an update that we can give to people regarding ESCOM right now.
Yes. Since from yesterday, South African Soweto residents have been experiencing a blackout of electricity all around that affected areas around Soweto. So now ESCOM has put out an alert that there's going to be a maintenance going on the 21st of October, which was yesterday on Monday. So now it is said that the maintenance would take over a day, but then there was a disclaimer that if ever no communication has been done after that day, there still might be ongoing maintenance. So we urge the residents to please remain calm and patient, as ESCOM is working very hard to ensure that this maintenance gets done swiftly. So electricity will be restored back soon.
All right. Indeed, if you are affected or you are in the affected areas, please, we urge you to stay calm, as ESCOM are really handling the matter in a professional way, and they will also update you on what is really happening. You can go to their Twitter account and check the updates there. If you want to report the outages, you can do so that you can get a response from them. All right, gentlemen, thank you so much for your time, and this is where we reach the end of the show, and I would like to invite people also that, this is not the end. We can continue to speak on the comment section when you come across, this video on your YouTube. So thank you so much, Mr. JP. Thank you so much for your time, sir.
Thank you very much, Mo. I will encourage people to come and join us even next week, and then we'll come in and give them better information, because our show is one of the best at the moment. I think we're doing well, guys. Let's keep doing the good job.
Indeed. Thank you so much with that. Mr. E2, last words.
Thank you for having me on the show, Mr. JP. Thanks for being part of the show as well, my guy. Thank you for your opinions. South Africa, we're looking forward to seeing what you're going to do with the issues that we have at hand. And let's just ensure that we're gonna handle these matters swiftly and not have any backlash from our actions.
Indeed.
Thank you, Mr. Mo.
This is Mzansi Affairs. If you would like to stay informed, do make sure to catch us every Tuesday, at 11 a.m. right here on Share Radio, brought to you by Share Online. My name is Mukiti Maimane, and I was with Mr. Itumeleng Diale right here in studio, and on the online call it was Mr. Jabulani. Catch you same time next week, same place right here on Share Online. Stay safe, stay kind. Thank you so much for being with us.
Thank you.